Hi, George Durkee yet again with another fun-filled video for ArcGIS 10, creating a basic map. And this is for not necessarily advanced students, but students who may want to learn a little more. This is a pretty short class, and so I'm just putting more stuff in here if you guys continue on with using ArcGIS. In this particular video, we're going to look at the workflow for bringing in a track log from a GPS using the DNRGPS utility to save it to a shapefile, and then putting it into ArcGIS 10. And then I'll show you how to edit, use some of the editing tools, split line, cut polygon, and the Reshape Feature tool to edit the file you bring in. So DNR GPS it is a really useful utility. It can take almost any GPS file, and there's a whole bunch of proprietary files out there, but GPX is the standard. That's a GPS exchange format, and Garmin uses that as its native file type. So I don't have a Garmin hooked up right now, but you can do that, and you can download it directly, and I've got other videos on how to do that. But in this case, our main interest is workflow and editing. So I'm going to go to File and Load From, and I'm going to go to the GPX file that I have, a couple of them, and notice that because it's set to shape SHP files, that's what shows up, but we want GPS exchange format, and so that's what we get. So let's take this one, you highlight it, you click open, and then it downloads all the tracks and all the waypoints that were on that downloaded GPS. I'm just interested in the tracks, and this was from a search in the Grand Canyon a couple of years ago, and it's got some interesting problems with it that required me to edit the tracks. So now what I want to do is convert those tracks to a shapefile, and so we save to an ArcMap and an ArcMap file. And you want to name it, and so I'm just going to highlight the GPX name, and then I'm going to change the extension that we want. We want to convert it to a shapefile, and that's just a little shortcut so that you keep the original name. So notice that the convention Grand Canyon uses the name at SAR 15 for 2015, and it was SAR 098 they had, and then the team name, Evan Team 1. You don't have to worry too much about that. The point of that is that consistent file naming, as I often emphasize here. Okay, save. And now it gives you the choice of point lines, and point means it'll save each specific little point of what the GPS was recording. So a GPS records a track based either on time, like it'll record every 15 seconds or every 1 minute or whatever, or on distance. You can set it to record every quarter mile or every 100 feet or whatever, and then newer ones will do a combination of both. In any event, we want a line, so it's connecting each point according to its timestamp into a line. And we hit OK, it converts it. And now let's do a second one. You use the clear table to get rid of all of the tracks. And let's go back, load from, file. Once again, we want the GPX. And let's take Jeremy Team 3, open that one. And save to ArcMap file. And we highlight the same one and make sure we save it to a 2D shapefile because it's just on the ground. Save that, and again to align, and OK. And that's all we need from that for the moment. Yeah, in another video, I've got how to edit it within DNRGPS, and you can. This is a free utility. Just look for, do a Google search for DNRGPS and download it to your computer. Pretty easy to use. And so now let's go to, that's ArcExplorer. And incidentally, I'll mention this just in passing. In ArcExplorer, that will bring in a GPX file directly into ArcExplorer. You don't have to convert it. Whereas in Arc10, you can actually convert it using one of the tools, but I just find it easier. There's a GPX to shapefile tool in all of the tools of Arc10. I just find DNR GPS a little easier to use. So now let's go to Catalog. Let's lock that in place. And oh, there it is. Uh-oh. There we go. And we have to refresh F5. And notice I've saved it in the incident data and the GPS subfolder. And there are the two, there's the Evan team. Let's do that one, pull that in. And that's just a warning that the coordinate type isn't an exact match. And then let's pull in the Jeremy team, and let's put that right below there. And I can just get rid of that warning. For our purposes, that's pretty minor. Okay, now let's change this. Let's zoom in a little bit. And let's change the symbology so it's a little bit easier to see here. Click on the symbol and then find an appropriate, here's one that's GPS. And okay, so here's what I was talking about. This is in Grand Canyon, a deep, narrow canyon. And we have a phenomena here that when a satellite sends out a signal at a known interval to your GPS. Your GPS is just a passive receiver, and it calculates based on the satellite's signal information as well as a almanac that lives on the GPS, and it figures out based on distance and time of signal where it is on the face of the Earth and whatever coordinate system you set for it. The problem is when a signal comes in and bounces off a cliff and then to your GPS, that takes longer, and so the calculation isn't always accurate, and that's called multipath signal. So it can bounce off several rocks or cliffs on its way to you, and that creates a huge mess here. And so what you need to do is get rid of this spaghetti mess here. And actually, let's go to an easier spaghetti mess. The other one's a little easier to work with. There we go. And this also shows, so you can see on the lower right here, a straight line coming in. And when you're on a search, and actually any kind of GPS work you're doing, if you're recording a bike route or a hiking route or ski route or anything like that, you want to first save and delete any pre-existing track log, because what'll happen is that when you fire up the GPS again, it draws a straight line from the last point of your last track log recording to the first point of your new Tracklog reporting. So you get this straight line coming in. So this goes to wherever the searcher last had his GPS on, and so he turns it on here, and so he's just got that straight connecting line. So since the purpose of a GPS on a search is to show where the searchers have been, this just confuses the picture, so we want to cut it out. So we go to the search team, we right click, and we start an editing session. Start editing. And so the first thing we want to do is highlight the feature that we want to change. So we use the edit tool, we just cross it there, and that highlights it. And then we go to the split line tool, the split tool. And so, oh, and incidentally, this is, you want to make sure your editor toolbar is checked. It'll automatically appear when you start an editing session. In fact, tell you what, let's get rid of it. And now we'll bring it in, editor. Sometimes it comes out up here, and so you just drag it and you dock it up here in the main bar, get it out of the way. Anyway, back to the split tool. We go to the split tool, and we bring it in kind of close here. We click, and so that now splits the long line of the GPS track into two. And so when we highlight that, it just shows that, and so we delete it. Poof. And it does leave that little stub there. We could have gone in closer. But now we have, here's what happened here. Let's move out a little bit. And when I talked, I did this from home in Twainhart when this search occurred. And so I called the incident command in Grand Canyon to make sure that these guys hadn't gone across the river or been flown there or something like that and searched this little area for some reason. I was pretty sure they hadn't, but for a search, you obviously have to be sure of what you're fooling around with as far as data goes. So we do the same thing. We highlight to mark it. We go to the split tool, and we cut it there. We highlight again, and we cut it here. And then we highlight it yet again, and we delete it. Now again, we still have kind of a mess here, but it's our main point is to illustrate where the searchers went. And so they landed in this area here, probably wandered around with their packs getting settled, and then started downriver on the search. And then again, I was a little more suspicious of this particular line on the left, because that actually looks like someone walked it. But in fact, after talking to the incident command, they never crossed the river. So let's get rid of that too at a logical point. This is along the shoreline, so we'll assume that that's represents where they actually were before they started getting all this signal bounce off the cliffs and everything. So we'll do the exact same thing. We highlight it. Okay, we highlight it again. There we go. And we split the line, probably right here. And delete it. So there you go. Those are the basics of using the split line tool. And now let's go on to a couple of the other tools. You save before you leave. Save edits. And stop editing. Now what I'm going to do is show you the Reshape and Cut Polygon tool. And you can also reshape a line. Oh, yeah, let's do that. We're having fun. Let's show you how to reshape a line here. We go back to Edit Feature, start editing. And let's, well, again, this is just for example. So again, we choose the line, highlight it, and we'll use the Reshape Feature tool. So you come from the outside and you cross and you follow the route that you want to reshape, and then double click to end it. And notice how it jumped to the right there. Let's do that again. Come from the outside, click once, and then just click a set of line, follow the line that you want to follow, and double click at the end. And there you go. It reshapes that whole line. Now I'm not going to save that. All this information's been given to the SAR a couple of years ago, but this is my record, so I don't want to mess around with that. And notice here too, I'm editing the original data, and that's not the GPS data, but I am editing the original shape file. So when you do that, you actually want to save it into a folder of edited data and keep your originals. And that's just on a SAR. You can obviously do whatever you feel works for you. But you want to keep on fire incidents or search and rescue or anything official, you want to keep a chain of what you did so that you can recreate every step should it become needed later. Okay, let us exit. We'll stop editing. Challenges, we don't want to save our edits, no. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to create a polygon, and for that I keep a geodatabase of just scratch data where I just keep stuff that I'm fooling around with. And so let's create a new feature class, and it'll be a polygon. So let's just call it scratch poly, and this will be 2 because I already did one. Scratch polygon 2, and keep it as a polygon feature, but we also have lines, points, multi-point, etc. But we want the polygon. Next, keep it in the world Mercator because we're using a world map. You can look all that stuff up in the coordinate system videos. And next, we just accept all the. And here, when you're creating any sort of file, whether it's a shape file or a feature class, you can put in more fields. And quite often, I'll at least put in a field called label and make it text, and just choose text. But we're not going to do that here. We're just going to finish. Excuse me. Okay, and now we're actually going to create a polygon. Now notice over here in my right hand window bar, I don't have the create feature toolbar. So for that, I have to go to editing, the editor, and we have to go to editing windows. Oh wait, first off, I have to edit the, sorry about that, I have to activate the edit feature on the polygon I just created. And now the create feature window doesn't come up over here, and that's what I need to actually create a feature. So to get that, I go to editor and editing window and to create feature. And then that pops up. That's locked in place now. And I highlight scratch Polygon 2, and let's start out with a rectangle. It doesn't matter what we do here. Click left click once to establish it, and then double click to end it. And then let's do an autocomplete freehand. So I start inside, and I just draw a line around it, come in, click to complete. And for these, and again, I cover these in other videos, but just create something and fool around with the tools to get a feel for them and what they do. So 2's enough for our purposes. And we'll keep the editing session open. But now, let's say I want to cut one of the polygons. I go to the Cut Polygon tool, start from the outside. Wait a minute, Control Z to get rid of that, because that's when you edit something, you have to highlight it. So the other one was highlighted, so I just highlighted the square or the rectangle. So once again, let's go to the Cut Polygon, and you start outside, you click inside, and whatever shape you want to make, and double click outside, and notice that made 2 polygons of the existing one. And you can do the same for the other one. Start at the outside, cut polygon inside, double click to finish, and there you go. And you can also merge polygons. So you might have a large polygon that's too big, or for some reason you want to combine a number of polygons. And so we have both of them chosen there, and we go back to Editor and we choose Merge. And it gives you the choice of which one you want to merge into the other. And so if you've created separate labels, you know, A and B here, and you choose this top one, let's say that would have been A, then you make both of the polygons A. And of course, it also wipes out any data you might have in that other one. So before you merge something, you have to make sure there's not any information you may lose about that other polygon. So let's just say OK. And poof, we're back to 1. So now let's clear the selection. And now let's reshape the feature. Let's reshape the freehand one. So again, start at the outside. So let's say you want to follow a contour. Double click to end, and it reshapes the whole polygon. So there you go. I think that covers everything. I will, well, let's look at this other one, this other GPS track. Let's save editor, save edits, because why not? And stop editing. And close that one. And I'm going to throw in that other GPS track just to show you how complicated things can get. I'm not going to work on this one because it's just a spaghetti mess, but you just got to start snipping away and get it all, get rid of it all, because that's obviously really distracting to a search, and it takes a while. And things overlap, and so when you choose one, it automatically highlights anything it crosses over. So it takes a while, but I will zip both of these files, GPS as GPX files, and put them in the file data for the class, and you guys can download and fool around with them if you want. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, and as always, send me any questions or comments.